everybody, this is your host Napalm Dawn here on Games for Gamers. Today we're taking a look at the first day, the go live of Heroes of the Storm. As you can see here, beta progress carried over into live because there is my level 40 account and it carried over into live, and as you can see here, the stats also carried over. My most played was Zeratul, followed by Gazlo, who is extremely out of the competitive meta, literally the lowest character available in competitive meta today. And Diablo's up there pretty far. I seem to be favoring Assassins with a fairly even gradient after that. Player progression, there we go, at 40, so we can see your monuments are a 7-day stimpack at 10, some hero rotation slots at 12 and 15, unlocking all talents for every hero no matter what their level. You get that at 25. You can go into Hero League at 30. You can go into Team League at 40, and of course gold along the way. Here are my current heroes as of day 1 on Go Live. A level 8 Toolbag, level 8 Diablo, a nearly 8 Malfi with a nearly 8 Gazlo, followed by a barely 7 Lili and Nubarak, a 6 Jaina, an almost 7 Jaina and Sylvanas, fairly high Rainer. There's Kelthus, who I've done a lot of work on lately. Sergeant Hammer, who I closed out the closed beta with, my Sergeant Hammer being my top. A nearly 5 Tassadar. Arthas was something recent with me. This was all pretty much one night for him. I did a lot of work in the closed beta on Uther. I did some Asmodan back in the day, and some Tyrande in some group play with some friends. And a little bit of Zagara, a very tiny amount of Nova, and then everybody else is pretty much untouched. Match history, there it is, some wins over there, some losses. Statistics. Most takedowns is Kelthus at a whopping 215 compared to... That's almost... I mean, it's almost 3 times more than my next closest hero, which is Diablo. And then, oddly enough, a Lili. But I've died the most as Kelthus, and a Diablo, and a Jaina. My Jaina seems pretty hardy. 48% in Garden of Terror. Pretty crappy in Tomb of the Spider Queen. Really good in Haunted Mines. I do a Zeratul a lot in there. He just slices his way through the skull piles. Cursed Hollow. Sky Temple's not too bad. A very low amount on those two over there. Really poor on Dragonshire. And of course the whopping Blackheart's Bay at 49 matches over there. Almost 50. The portraits I have unlocked. Of course the Nexus Recruit that everybody gets. The Alpha, the Beta. Another beta, 40 in the beta, the Lunar Festival, Billy, who they've changed Billy's sounds. I don't like Billy anymore in terms of the sounds. He used to have this high-pitched kind of squeal when you would get on him, and now it's a more like stepping on a cat sound, and it's just not as fun to mount anymore. But he's still pretty funny when you put him with really big characters like Diablo. Launch week. That's for logging in this week. A Nub, Diablo, Gazlo. We had a Jaina over there, a Kelthus, a Kerrigan, a Lili, a Malfi. There's my Sylvanas, who I'm using right now. And Zeratul, one of the heroes that I am most proud of. So, the newest hero is, of course, Johanna. She has a really funny trailer that Blizzard has put out, and also showed it in the Go Live events out in London on the 1st. She has Punish, an area of effect spell with an 8-second cooldown, deals 48 damage and slows enemies by 60% as it decays over 2 seconds. Condemn, pull after a second cast time, pull enemy heroes to you stunning them for a quarter of a second and dealing 20 damage. So basically it's an interrupt. Shield Glare, deal 50 damage to enemies and cause them to miss their next 2 basic attacks within 4 seconds. Falling Sword, we've seen some of this in the trailers. She leaps up in the air and you can steer her, and after 2 seconds she crash lands and knocks them into the air. Another good interrupt. Blessed Shield, with a quicker cooldown, you deal 70 damage and stun the first enemy hit for 2 seconds, and then bounces to 2 nearby targets, dealing 35 damage and stunning them. So similar to a Pally Shield for tanks in Warcraft, or the way Captain America is portrayed in a lot of games. That's the shield throw, basically. And she has a trait of Iron Skin, where for every 20 seconds she becomes unstoppable and gains a shield that absorbs damage. And looking at her skins, her stock is pretty solid. It has a nice, like, that angel-y level of Diablo 2 feel to it. Kind of where you hang out with the angels and then go right into hell. This is my favorite color scheme that she has in almost all of her skins. The red and black and gold. It looks very regal, kind of intimidating. She has that shaved head over here, and the rose over there. And this sort of washed outy light blue, kind of a very faded gold color to it. I like this red tremendously. Also the crest changes. So, I mean, this looks very Diablo-ish. The crest doesn't change too much here, but it does on the tabard. Sort of looks like the Reaper. If you look at Carbot's animation, the animation he did for the Diablo expansion pack, that's what this looks like. And then this slightly more pointed trident look to it. Her master skin, she looks like an absolute tank. She has a kind of Pally pill hat with a riser above it from the shoulder pads. The shield, as you can see, definitely gets more ornate. The hammer over here reminds me a lot of the hammer that was used at the end of Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. It's the one that the Witch King is flinging about at the end, where he gets stabbed by Eowyn. So there's this one, uses a fairly similar color scheme to her default skin. Again, the red is really nice. A little bit less black here, but still very much like her original skin. Again, one of my favorite sets of colors. And then this, again, sort of the washed out bluey green with gold. Like it a little bit better than that. Still kind of prefer the red. And this is almost way too ornate here. Looks like she's going to have problems with line of sight, like no periphery whatsoever. And then we have her Centurion Johanna skin, where she looks like Rise from the Xbox One. Again, very intimidating looking mace. This looks like it would completely shatter every bone in your body. That very Roman Centurion looking shield over here, and of course the broom hat. A slightly pinky purple, getting a little girly over here. We've seen some heroes with similar skins to this. I think Nova might have something kind of these colors. And then a darker purple, almost very Nexus-y blue down here. The mace gets completely washed out, or flail I should say, gets completely washed out at this point. Looks like an asteroid. And but the feathers around the helm have a little bit of a nice shine and glare to it that you don't see any other color scheme. So I kind of like this area of her, and on the rest I like the red. So she is part of a bundle that is currently out that is about $13. It gives you 2 skins and no mounts, so you get Centurion version of Johanna and her Diablo stock version of it. I kind of don't think it's worth the 13. Like, I might drop under 10 for this bundle, but I just don't like the Centurion skin quite enough. But ironically enough, if you take a look at this, it is the only skin where she actually gains boobs. If we take a look at her original and her master, could kind of pass for man, and it isn't until here where you get a little bit of shape to her there. Not that that particularly matters for that little sprite that you see going around the field. It's just something that I happen to notice. We of course still have the Lunar Tiger available for about $5. I would kind of consider this one worth it. I really do like this White Tiger version of it. And this one's kind of very Stranglethorn Tiger looking. We have the Halloween skin version of Kerrigan, which changes the mounts, or has a unique mount. And she has themed abilities on it. This final coloration I think is one of my favorites. She reminds me of Blood Queen over in Ice Crown Citadel a little bit. So that's about $5. We have Frostworm Arthas. That really changes his, one of the only ones that changes his sword around kind of to a dragon spine. Doesn't change his voice, there's no themes with it. He sort of has a Kerrigan Batwing cloak to him and the Frostworm shoulders. This looks very fell and decayed, more like it's in line with Warlords, the Black Temple area. This makes him look rather human. And of course this looks very Death Knight-y, very classic Arthas. We have Seraphim Tyrael. Nothing special in the themes over here, but he gets that kind of very odd looking mask. Again, really like the red and black on that one. We have the Winter Veil Complete Bundle for almost $30, where you get a Jaina, a Santa Claus Jaina, which I actually have, Grandfather Rhaegar, and the Reindeer. Honestly, a little much for $30. This kind of looks like a goatskin pagan totem. Sort of like from the old movie Dragnet. We have Tyrael on sale for under $5 and about $7K. That's not a bad pickup. He's pretty solid. We have the starter bundle at 77% off, down to $5. If you are just getting into the game, if you have just installed the game now that it is free, this is definitely the way to go. You get a solid healer with crowd control in Malfurion. And, you know, you can kind of set him up to be a little bit more boomy than Restu-y, but he's really solid. You have Muradin, known as one of the better tanks in the meta right now. And you have Raynor, of course, the tutorial DPSer. He is available for free in rotation now, but honestly, this one is worth a pickup for $5 because you also get a 7-day stimpack and you get the armored warhorse. So that one is definitely worth the money. And I believe that's pretty much it. I happen to have this one myself. I don't recall paying close to $50 for it. She, at the character select screen, the shadows fall across this eye and it makes her look like she has an eye patch. And she just has really ridiculous, super overhanging boobs in this set. I use that Jaina almost exclusively when I'm doing it. We still have Kalthus. He is really strong. If you do a lot of research out on him now, a lot of people are still finding his place in the meta, but I like him a lot. The living bomb way of setting his talents is the way that I go, and it's very easy to get a lot of kills. We have the Stormpunk Kalthus, which sort of is very Lich King-y looking here. Very Blood Elf looking here. And this one, which makes him look like a vampire. I like this one for what it does to him over there. It makes him look pretty cool. We have Sylvanas, and of course we have the Lost Vikings, which I've never touched, and Thrall, which I've never touched, unfortunately. I do want to get the chance to use him. I used Chen a lot in the closed beta and actually had him purchased. I just happened to not have him picked up in live. So on the free rotation, we currently have Asmodan, we have Tychus, we have Diablo, ETC, Falstad, Lily, and Tassadar. So it looks like, what are my quests? I've got 8 games, 3 games as a warrior, and win 3. So pretty much just have to do a warrior and win 3. Currently really popular in the meta, Diablo and ETC are known as some of the better tanks. Arthas is there. Gazlo is considered absolutely one of the worst. Sylvanas and Jaina are putting up some really good numbers. Asmodan's falling out a little bit because of his lack of mobility, but Murden is definitely considered one of the best tanks, period. Lily spent some time being broken, where her like one of the Cloud Serpent talents was causing things to bounce a little bit excessively. Nova's pretty, you know, like tier 2, the high tier. Uther's doing very well for support. Lily's also doing very well. Very good Brightwing players can pull off some good Brightwing, but unfortunately he is very, very tough to use. Murky is dropping really low in a lot of the rankings. Abathur, don't really have a good range on him right now. I haven't kept up with his positioning. Nazebo is known for doing really good specialist damage recently. Tyrion's still doing okay as a tank. Rhaegar, you pretty much don't want to set up for the primary support, but if he is, most people are talenting into the big ancestral heal. Sonya is kind of mid tier. A lot of people are laughing at Sonya warriors, but very talented Sonya warriors are still putting up good numbers and showing just how well they can do. Lost Vikings are surviving very well as specialists, as is Sylvanas. Zeratil's falling down a little bit. Tassadars are pretty solid if they use the wall effectively. That whole ability to do the force wall at the right times and cut off escapes and pin people in, maybe pin them into a Diablo stun or things like that, or for keep everybody isolated in an area for Johanna to drop down, or spread Calpus' living bombs. That of course is very good. There have, if you count any of the heroes of the Dorm Finals, from what little I've watched, there's a lot of people that were trying to combo Diablo's big AoE stun that I rarely ever see picked anymore. I always pick the Lightning Breath and extend it later on at around 20. People were really trying to time big stuns, like Uther's stun right into the Diablo apocalypses and everything, and it kind of worked out. So I really would like to see them expand more outside of Warcraft, and I would like, you know, if we have Lich King, bring us like Deathwing. It'd be kind of cool if Deathwing could fly over the map, but he like was really slow, but he wasn't, you know, fettered or tied down by terrain. He could maybe fly like really slowly over terrain. You might consider it overpowered, but if you knocked his speed down a little bit, that might be cool. Maybe he could do like a strafing run similar to Arthas's Syndragosa. And I would like to see if we start getting Overwatch characters in Heroes of the Storm, or they even go really far back in Blizzard's history and pull out Blackthorn. The only thing is you have to kind of maybe wonder if Blackthorn would wind up being a little bit too much like Raynor. So, alright, in closing, what would I recommend to purchase? I personally wouldn't go for the full Centurion bundle, but Johanna herself might be worth it. The Lunar Tiger is a pretty good price. If you're into it, Countess Kerrigan could be pretty cool. She does supposedly have a unique mount, although I don't know what it is. I'm definitely going to skip Seraphim Tyrael. I just don't even use them enough. The Winter Veil bundle I think is overpriced. Tyrael, it's 7k gold, and what was he like? Yeah, $4. That's worth a pickup over there. The starter bundle I think is a very good price, and I would absolutely recommend it for anybody, especially if they have none of these three. I have Malfurion, but you know, picking up a free Rainer, an Emerald, and that mount for under $5, I would definitely consider worth it. And Winter Veil without the complete Winter Veil set, yeah, okay. I mean, if you're into Mrs. Claus, if that gets your goat, then go ahead. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the state of the game now with HOTS on launch day. And, you know, hopefully we'll get some playtime in it. Maybe get Johanna and put up some videos of her. And definitely subscribe to the channel on Twitch. So if I do some HOTS streaming, you'll get notifications of it and can come watch me and my friends play. Take care, everybody. One thing before I go, if you go to teambuilder.heroesofthestorm.com, I'll put a link in the description. You can go ahead. It'll ask you for your Facebook information. You'll put it in there, and it will allow you to select up to 4 of your Facebook friends. You slot them in these like little avatar areas, kind of like this. Once they're in there, you will be presented with 3 traits, and you assign one of the 3 to yourself or your 4 friends. When you have completely assigned all the traits and you publish it to your Facebook, you will get a free mount in Heroes of the Storm, which you cannot see over here. But it will be a, I believe it's kind of like a mechano crabby spider scorpion-y thing. I haven't played, actually, let's see if I have it available. I should. There it is. The mechano spider. So if you do that little social event over there and pick your friends and the traits and whatnot, you get this mechano spider for free. And there's the color variations, including kind of like a reddy purple, which looks pretty cool. A sort of steel and purple, and the Alliance steel and gold. So stop on over to teambuilder.heroesofthestorm.com, fill that out, and get your free mount. Take care, everybody, once again.